This is my first post here on YouTube. I intend on posting a lot because I love wrestling. I watch TNA, I watch WWE, some old wrestling. I'm also a UFC MMA fan, kind of new MMA UFC fan. Must say, actually, it's kudos to Brock Lesnar because he got me into it. I never saw the entertainment of it earlier, but actually I see why people like it, because I like it too now. I'm gonna post a lot. I have a lot of opinions. In this clip I'm gonna discuss why I think WWE was right in releasing Mr. Kennedy, why they were right in releasing Umaga. I'm gonna just give you a little hint of what wrestlers I like, what wrestlers I don't like, such as Batista. Absolutely worthless piece of shit. Can't do nothing right, he sucks, blatantly sucks. Feel free to comment. This is somewhat, I'm just looking back on some things that happened. I mean, Mr. Kennedy's release ain't exactly news anymore, but I still feel that I want to share my opinion on that. However, I intend on posting videos every now and then, so feel free to subscribe. I'm gonna give my review on Slammiversary to catch up on that. I still haven't watched The Bash. I intend on doing that tomorrow. So yeah, that's pretty much all. So have a blast. Feel free to express your opinions. Feel free to like or dislike what I have to say. I prefer to not use words as love and hate, as a lot of people do in wrestling forums everywhere and here on YouTube. But yeah, feel free to hate me, loathe me, despise me, whatever you want. I really don't... I do care if you have opinions because it's fun. But I have my opinions and I can see why you would be able to change them. Kudos to you if you manage to, but ain't gonna happen. I've been a more or less lifelong fan of wrestling. I've been watching wrestling since I was, I think, 7 to 8 years old. Meaning I have about 20 years experience of watching wrestling. I've been training some wrestling myself a few years ago. This is my first video, as I said, and I also intend just briefly to lay down a line on where I stand on some issues that has passed by recently. First off, I'm a, and have always been, and probably will always be, a WWE fan by heart. WWE is the Federation Wrestling promotion that I prefer, one I always followed, and I also held WWE higher than WCW during the Monday Night War. If I have a short brief presentation of myself, there ain't that much to say. I'm 27 years old and I live in Sweden, and my favorite wrestler of all time, it's a hard one. I loved Hulk Hogan being a little kid. I remember watching WrestleMania 7, marking out, seeing him defeat Sergeant Slaughter. I also marked out when he won the Royal Rumble 1991, that same year. However, I would have to say that my biggest favorite is Bret Hart. I remember 1997, I absolutely loved Bret Hart, Owen Hart, British Bulldog, and so I'm also therefore a fan of the Hart Dynasty as of now in the ECW. It's somewhat of reliving my childhood, I guess. Hence I have always had a hard time liking Shawn Michaels, because he was, as you may know, during that Hart Foundation stable's reign in 1997, he was their ultimate opponent, and he ended up screwing Bret Hart in Montreal in November of 1997. Stone Cold Steve Austin, I liked him. He's great. Never loved him. And The Rock, same thing. I really never liked The Rock that much. I think he was not that good of a wrestler. He had a limited arsenal, right hands, more or less everything he had. Samoan drop occasionally, people's elbow rock bottom, of course, but I never understood the hype of The Rock because I never thought he was that damn funny. at all. Plus he never wrote the stuff he said during his promos. Other people did. Triple H, however, I really like Triple H. I think Triple H is somewhat of a human success story. He has done perhaps everything right that you can do in order to succeed. However, I of course do not question his love for Stephanie. I presume that's an authentic love, so to speak, but he's pretty much succeeded in everything he wanted in the business of wrestling. I also kinda like John Cena, because you gotta respect the man. He seems to have all the odds against him, and not talking about storylines right now, but talking about fans not liking him. However, he managed to win a lot of fans back. He has won a lot of fans back since 2005, when he was like, everyone wanted to kill the guy. And he is also favored, of course, right now of the rated PG that WWE has, because kids love John Cena. Rey Mysterio, not like him that much. Chris Jericho, big favorite of mine, perhaps one of the best heels right now, along with Randy Orton and Edge in WWE. That's briefly about the guys in WWE that I like. In TNA, never been that big on AJ Styles. Kurt Angle, he's great, but I prefer Sting. Also Sting was big on Sting. Ric Flair, of course, they had great matches in WCW and elsewhere. Mick Foley, cool guy, but not my biggest favorite. Plus he's so fat. He's got a big ass.